Alright, so imagine being told you're the most powerful person on the planet before you even hit puberty. You can bend 3 elements by age 4, wreck grown adults, and oh yeah, no pressure, but the whole world expects you to be calm, wise, and spiritual too. Problem is, you've got a temper hotter than a firebender who stubbed his toe and you won't listen to anyone else. That sounds like Korra, alright, and today we're gonna be going through her entire story, from her days as a child prisoner to the time she managed to bend her own blood. Yeah, you heard me. This is the legend of Korra. So let's get this show on the road. In the first episode of the series, Welcome to Republic City, we first meet Korra as a fearless 4-year-old who shocks the Order of the White Lotus by bending water, earth, and fire all in a row.
I'm the Avatar! You gotta deal with it!
So from the get-go, we instantly know she means business, and that she's gonna be the next Avatar. So basically like Aang, but she's a bit different, as I'm sure you can tell. Instead of being part of any air faction, Korra was born to Tonrak and Senna in the Southern Water Tribe shortly after Aang died. Think of it as like a spiritual reincarnation. She's obviously a quick learner because look how powerful she is as a 4-year-old. She developed her skills under another familiar face you guys might recognize.
But that's why I should start training with Tenzin immediately.
Do you believe she's ready, Master Katara?
Yes.
That's right, Katara. She's still alive and kicking. But by this point in her journey, she's a bending master, and she takes Korra under her wing. I mean, is there anyone better for the job than her? She spent so much time with the last Avatar. Obviously, though, Korra isn't easy to train. She's much more aggressive and impatient. And although her future seems bright, dark times loom ahead for the young warrior. Once Korra's identity was confirmed, her uncle Unalaq pushed to train her spiritually, but her parents refused, unaware that Unalaq was secretly working with the Red Lotus, a group that attempted to kidnap Korra when she was just 5. The plot was stopped thanks to Tonrak, Chief Sokka, Tenzin, and believe it or not, Fire Lord Zuko. Who'd have thought he'd have turned his life around? Korra was kept in the dark about all of this, and after the attack, her father and Tenzin made the tough choice to hide her away in a secure compound in the tribe, surrounded by White Lotus guards to protect her from any further threats. It was there that she continued her bending training. Growing up in this confined space, Korra became a strong, confident, and skilled bender by her teens, mastering water, earth, and firebending. She also befriended Naga, a polar bear dog pup she met during one of the few times she was allowed outside the compound. The problem is, spending all that time locked away sorta weighs heavy on you, and Korra begins to wonder why she had to be a prisoner, because it's not like she did anything wrong, is it? Well, the last straw is broken soon after she turned 17 in the episode Welcome to Republic City. Basically, Tenzin promises her that they'll work on her mastery of air bending together, you know, seeing as he's Aang's son. But due to some political problems in the city, their plans fall through and Korra is sick of being a prisoner. So she leaves her makeshift prison and heads for Republic City. It doesn't take her long to find trouble though, as she spots members of the triple threat triad messing around with shopkeepers, so she jumps in and dishes out justice. But she's not in her own world anymore, and being a vigilante in the big city is a big no-no. Metal-bending police swarm around her and arrest Korra for disorderly conduct, or in other terms, doing their job for them. So it's not exactly the best start to her new life. Tenzin manages to pull some strings in the background and get Korra released before sending her to stay with his family on Air Temple Island, where her airbending training can really get rolling. But in the episode A Leaf in the Wind, we see that Korra isn't exactly a natural with the air. It's a little too spiritual for her hothead. So she rebels by sneaking off the island to join a pro-bending match with 2 brothers, Mako and Bolin. Stepping into the bright lights of the pro-bending arena, Korra finds a thrilling new outlet for her skills. Here she can earthbend and firebend freely in a competitive sport, testing herself and learning a thing or two from the brothers she's befriended. By the way, their name is pretty cool. They call themselves the Fire Ferrets.
The ferrets advance into Rabaroo territory and are holding nothing back. And all 3 Rabaroos are down. The Fire Ferrets easily take round 1.
This sort of world is like the perfect mix of old and new, and she really starts enjoying using it as an outlet. She even starts meeting people her own age, like Mako's girlfriend, Asami, who quickly becomes one of her best friends. It also helps Korra enjoy herself more around the city. She's sneaking into noodle shops and zooming around with Asami on her moped for fun, but that fun soon stops. Since she's been struggling with mastering airbending, Korra has really begun to doubt herself as a true avatar. She feels like she just doesn't have that patience needed that Aang had, and this doubt comes at the worst possible time. Because in The Revelation, she stumbles upon an underground rally of the Equalists, a radical anti-bending group led by a masked figure named Amon. There, under dim electric lights, Korra witnesses something that'll scar her forever. ever. Before this, Kora hasn't ever felt true fear about losing her bending. Sure, she can't quite master air, but she's got the others on lock. Now though, if she puts one foot out of line near these people, she could lose everything. While down there, she manages to save another friend of hers that was taken, Bolin, but she's haunted by nightmares. Worried sick she'll lose her bending and her identity, instead of facing her fear, Kora toughens up and publicly challenges Amon, hoping to draw him out. And in The Voice in the Night, she attempts to confront Amon in a promoted Avatar vs. Equalist duel. Amon doesn't take the bait, but later ambushes Kora at night, easily taking her down with chi blocking, choosing not to take her bending, but to keep on manipulating her. The encounter leaves Kora trembling and humiliated, sobbing in Tenzin's arms as she admits how terrified she is of Amon, which by the way is the first time she's ever admitted to being vulnerable. Determined to fight back, Kora joins Councilman Tarlok's new task force in the episodes The Voice in the Night and The Spirit of Competition, working alongside the police to root out equalists. Under Tarlok's pressure, she pushes herself harder, raiding hideouts and patrolling the streets. Meanwhile, her pro-bending team reaches the championship tournament and the winner is... But that victory is short-lived. During the final round of the championship, Amon makes a bold attack on the pro-bending arena, interrupting the match in a dramatic assault. Amon's chi-blocking lieutenant and equalist henchmen overwhelm the arena's security. The lights go out, mecha tanks crash through the walls, and Amon injures dozens of athletes. Kora then springs into action with Tenzin at her side, fighting off some equalists, but Amon escapes, leaving behind a chilling message that no bender is safe. The arena, once a symbol of Korra's freedom and excitement, now lies in ruins. A reminder that the equalists will stop at nothing to turn the tables on the world order. In the aftermath, Kora and her friends uncover that Hiroshi Sato, Asami's wealthy father, is secretly funding Amon and building war machines for the equalists. Obviously, this news shatters Asami and forces Kora to confront her own feelings of distrust, because how can the father of one of her closest friends be a direct investor to her biggest enemy? But that's quickly squashed once Asami stands up to her father, disowning him and cementing her place on Korra's team. Together with Mako and Bolin, they move back to Air Temple Island for safety, forming a new Team Avatar, not the most creative name in the world. Then, in the episode When Extremes Meet, Kora starts feuding needlessly with Tarlok as she starts patrolling the city independently, angering him and setting the stage for a confrontation. Tarlok exploits Korra's impulsive nature, luring her into a heated argument at City Hall one night. In the heat of the moment, Kora accuses Tarlok of abusing his power and oppressing non-benders, which is exactly the sort of stuff you'd hear coming out of Amon's mouth. The argument escalates into a physical duel where Kora gains the upper hand with her powerful firebending, but Tarlok has a super powerful card up his sleeve, Bloodbending. Man, the thought of bloodbending makes me shudder. Kora doesn't think it's the greatest thing in the world either, especially as Tarlok uses it to paralyze her. He then takes her away to a remote mountain cabin and imprisons her in chains. So, just like that, she's back to square one. She's a prisoner again. Things pick up again in the episode Out of the Past, where Kora uses what little freedom she has left to meditate and seek guidance from her past lives for the first time. In the flickering candlelight of Tarlok's cabin, she connects with the spirit of Avatar Aang, receiving a vision of his battle with the bloodbender criminal Yakone, and how Yakone was defeated. Kora realizes Tarlok is Yakone's son, which explains the bloodbending ability, as his dad will have most likely passed it down. Avatar Aang reaches out to protect Kora, giving her the strength to break free, but not quickly enough as Amon arrives with equalists to capture Tarlok. Amon overpowers his target as he's immune to bloodbending, and moves to take Kora as well. In the frenzy, she manages to escape into the frozen wasteland, where she eventually meets up again with Naga and her friends. Even if she's frostbitten, no sooner does Kora return to Republic City than the equalist revolution reaches its peak in the episodes Turning the Tides and Endgame. Amon launches a full-scale attack on the city. His airships and mecha tanks strike government buildings. He captures dozens of benders and even targets Tenzin's family. Kora and the team fight bravely to protect City Hall and Tenzin's children, but they're outnumbered and are forced to take refuge underground. In the midst of the chaos, General Iroh, Zuko's grandson, arrives with United Forces troops to help the city, but his fleet is destroyed by equalist biplanes and mines. Kora saves Iroh from drowning after his ship is sunk. As the finale of the first season continues, Kora and Mako sneak into the captured pro-bending arena, where Amon is preparing to announce his victory over the city. As they move through the corridors, Kora overhears Amon's confession. The masked savior of non-benders is actually a waterbender, and none other than Tarlok's brother Noatak. Armed with the knowledge from Aang's vision, Kora exposes Amon's true identity in front of his followers. And he's furious. He unleashes a full-scale attack on Kora and Mako, one so big that Kora is caught off guard while protecting her friend, and Amon manages to grip her neck. And you know where this is going. In that moment, Kora feels her connection to water, earth, and fire violently ripped away. And to add insult to injury, Aemon leaves her airbending, the only one she didn't master. He then moves to take Mako's bending next, but seeing Mako in danger sparks something deep within Korra, and at her lowest point, she finally taps into the airbending she had been unable to master before. A burst of wind knocks Amon back just in time to save Mako, and for the first time, Korra fights back with airbending. Korra drives Amon out onto the arena's open platform, confronting him in front of his followers. There, Amon's mask is torn off, revealing his true identity to the shocked crowd. Amon has no choice but to flee before he's killed, leaving Korra to sit with everything that's just happened. Sure, she might have won, but now she'll certainly never be the Avatar without her other bending. So she travels back to the Southern Water Tribe, hoping Katara's healing abilities can undo the damage Aemon did. But even Katara's advanced water healing can't restore Korra's lost bending. As she cries, her tearful prayer is answered, as in that raw moment of acceptance, Korra's spiritual self finally breaks through. The glowing figures of Avatar Aang and her predecessors appear before her. Aang comforts Korra and, channeling the wisdom of past avatars, performs energy bending on her, which restores her to full power. In the 6 months following the anti-bending revolution, she travels across the country, using Aang's gift of energy bending to restore the bending of innocent people that Amon had stripped away. During this time, she trains under Tenzin to master airbending, and this marks a major milestone for Korra, confirming that she has achieved balance between her body and spirit. By the start of Book 2, Spirit's Korra is confident and ready for anything, but trouble arrives in the form of growing unrest in the Southern Water Tribe. In the episode Rebel Spirit, during the Glacier Spirits Festival in her home city, dark spirits begin attacking unsuspecting fishermen and travelers. Korra's uncle, Unalaq, of the Northern Water Tribe, arrives offering his help to restore balance with the angry spirits. During the festival, Korra learns that it was her father, Tonrak, and Tenzin, who had agreed to keep her isolated in the compound as a child for her own protection, and she feels deeply betrayed by both of them. I mean, you would, wouldn't you? Your own family locking you up without telling you why. I know they protected her, but it's still wrong. Feeling hurt and convinced she's been held back from her true potential, Korra makes a stupid mistake. She abandons Tenzin's training and turns to Unalaq for guidance. Under Unalaq's tutelage, Korra heads on a journey into the frozen tundra in the episode The Southern Lights. At the tip of the South Pole, she faces one of the ancient spirit portals, long sealed since Avatar Wan's time, now surrounded by angry dark spirits attacking Korra and her friends. Embracing Unalaq's lessons on calm and connection, Korra fights and then soothes a dark spirit by flowing her water bending in a graceful, dance-like motion, putting out its negative energy. She then opens the Southern Spirit portal, unleashing a radiant beam of southern lights across the sky, something that hasn't been seen in generations. However, returning to the Southern Water Tribe, Korra finds a pretty grim scene. Unalaq's Northern Water Tribe Navy has occupied her home city under the pretense of stamping out chaos. The Water Tribes are torn into a bitter civil war, with Southerners rising up against Northern forces. Korra is caught in the role of mediator between her own people and Unalaq's army, a job far more complicated than any fight. If she just stayed training with Tenzin, she wouldn't have had to deal with all this. Well, you can't go back in time, I guess. So she tries to maintain peace, but both sides are seriously cautious. The Southerners see her as a Northern pawn, while the Northerners see her as the enemy, especially when it's revealed that her father is leading a rebel plot, although it's not all as it seems. Because Korra discovers that her father was framed by Unalaq, classic brother hating brother. We saw the same with Zuko. Anyway, Korra realizes that she's been betrayed by yet another family member and busts her dad out of prison. Her line is now firmly in the sand. She stands with her family and her people and realizes that giving her uncle a chance was clearly very stupid. So she tries to get help from Republic City, but hits a dead end when President Raiko refuses to get involved in the Water Tribe conflict. But she obviously needs help, so instead Korra goes straight for General Iroh and approaches him with a plan. But word gets back to Mako, who in Korra's absence has become a cop, and he snitches. No one in the city will help her, so she heads to the last place she can think of, the Fire Nation. Before she gets far, her cousins Desna and Eska ambush her under Unalaq's orders, but she escapes. While at sea, a dark spirit attacks and drags her underwater, overwhelming her completely. She later washes up unconscious on a distant shore, found by fire sages who realize the spirit's attack has wiped her memory and severed her connection to the Avatar spirit. They bring her to a remote temple to begin an old healing ritual. In the episode's beginnings, part 1 and 2, Korra is submerged in sacred spirit water and enters a deep trance. In this moment, Korra's spirit is guided by the eldest sage to reconnect with her Avatar spirit by reliving the origins of the Avatar cycle. She opens her eyes to find herself witnessing the life of a young man named Wan, who lived 10,000 years ago. Through these episodes, Korra becomes Wan in the vision, training with the elemental lion turtles, encountering the ancient spirits, and ultimately joining with the light spirit Rava to become the first avatar and imprison the dark spirit Vatu. These mythic revelations restore Korra's memory and reshape her understanding of her own identity. She now knows the avatar's purpose is to balance light and darkness, just like Wan did. Coming back out of the healing waters, Korra knows she must close the spirit portals before harmonic convergence to stop dark spirit Vatu from returning. She reunites with Tenzin, and together they head to the southern portal site, still under northern tribe control. In the guide, Korra seeks Tenzin's help to enter the spirit world, but ironically, it's his spiritually gifted daughter Jinora who provides the key. So, in a new spiritual age, Korra and Jinora meditate beneath the ancient banyan grove tree, and their spirits slip into the spirit world. Inside, Korra is immediately separated from Jinora and finds herself lost in a dark forest where her fears overwhelm her. But just as things seem completely lost for Korra, an ancient spirit steps up to calm her. We see how she regains control and powers through to find the spirit portals deep in an ethereal valley where vines float in the air. There, she discovers that Jinora has been captured by Unalaq, who has entered the spirit world as well. Unalaq, now revealed to be allied with Vatu, holds Jinora's spirit hostage and demands Korra open the northern spirit portal to save her life, which is not a good idea. That'll bring death and destruction to the entire universe. But seeing as she's out of options, Korra agrees, focusing her energy and reopening the second portal at the North Pole. Instantly, the world's spiritual energy surges. Auroras dance across the sky and harmonic convergence begins to intensify. Unalaq, having gotten what he wanted, decides he's not had enough and attacks Korra with dark spirits. She manages to escape through a portal on the back of a dragon bird thing. She might be alive, but for how long? With both portals open, harmonic convergence is nearly upon them. And in the episode of the same name, Korra rallies Team Avatar, her dad, and other allies for a final assault on the northern spirit portal. As the event begins, they fight their way through Unalaq's fierce children and dark spirit-infused waterbending. However, Korra is unable to close the portals in time. With a thunderous crack of energy, harmonic convergence arrives, and Vatu bursts out of his tree prison in the spirit world. Korra watches in horror as the dark spirit merges with Unalaq, who willingly allows Vatu to enter his body, transforming him into the Dark Avatar. Then we get into the episode Darkness Falls, when Korra has no choice but to take the fight to the Dark Avatar. Despite her strength and rage, Unalaq overpowers her with raw dark energy, pinning down and ripping Rava, the spirit of light and peace, from her soul. He mercilessly spirit bends Rava until he completely wipes them from existence, which, if you couldn't tell, is bad. It shatters the entire Avatar cycle, turns Unalaq as a colossal dark being called Unavatu, and leaves Korra for dead. But she's not out yet. Korra uses the faint energy from Jinora's spirit to regain some strength, while Unavatu heads off to destroy Republic City. Korra focuses on healing herself, using the same tree that Vatu was imprisoned in to increase her strength before opening a portal toward Republic City. She's not just full strength, she's stronger than she ever has been, and she's gonna need to be to take down the Dark Avatar. The two spiritual giants clash in the skies about the city for all to see. But even with her enhanced power, Korra struggles. Unavatu binds her in tendrils of darkness and nearly corrupts her spirit with pure hatred. But Korra still has Jinora working for her, projecting her own spirit, a spirit which exposes tiny fragments of Rava floating within. The Dark Avatar's essence, and once again, Korra has hope. Enough hope for her to break free and plunge her spirit arms into Unavatu. Searching desperately for that glimmer of Rava, she finds it, channels her energy, and rips Unavatu's darkness apart, restoring Rava and bringing the harmonic convergence to a close. Despite saving Rava and the entire world, Korra's avatar cycle is still severed, and she won't have their wisdom to rely on anymore, and she must accept that she is now the start of a new cycle. She then steps outside to address the gathered Northerners and Southerners. With Unalaq dead, she declares the civil war over and announces that her father, Tonrak, will be the new chief of the South. But Korra isn't done reshaping the world. To everyone's surprise, she announces that she will leave the two spirit portals open permanently. Never before has an avatar allowed the physical and spiritual world to merge. But then again, Korra is a whole new avatar. The consequences of Korra's choice are immediately felt in Book 3. Change, spirits now roam freely across the material world, bringing both beauty and chaos, and then, in the episodes Rebirth and the Earth Queen, Korra, Tenzin, and their friends embark on an airship journey across the Earth Kingdom to gather new airbenders, offering them a fresh start at the Northern Air Temple. Basically, after the whole portal thing, some people in the Earth Kingdom who couldn't bend before now are suddenly skilled airbenders. So this becomes Korra's primary mission, rebuilding the Air Nation. For her first move, Korra plans a rescue mission in the episode In Harm's Way, where she infiltrates a Dai Li prison beneath the Earth Queen's temple, and once there, Korra and her allies free a dozen captive airbenders. As Korra and Tenzin lead the freed recruits to safety, Korra uses earth-bending blasts and quick airbending strikes to fend off waves of Dai Li agents. The image of Korra and Tenzin shielding the new air nomads from the Dai Li's stone fists finally show that Korra is beginning to fulfill Aang's legacy by protecting the rebirth of the Air Nation. However, as they celebrate their success, an old threat resurfaces from the shadows. The night after freeing the airbenders, Lin receives news that 4 dangerous criminals have escaped from their maximum security prisons and are coming for Korra. Their names are Zahir, Ghazan, Minghua, and Pali. And unbeknownst to Korra, these are the same Red Lotus members who tried to kidnap her as a child. It's not going to be long before they meet, and boy, there'll be fireworks. After securing the rescued airbenders at the Northern Air Temple, Korra continues her journey across the Earth Kingdom with Team Avatar, searching for more airbenders. They arrive at Zaofu, a city made entirely of metal, in the Metal Clan. Here, Korra practices metal bending for the first time, delicately pulling apart a lump of earth into strands of metal, and she officially becomes the first Avatar to be able to bend metal. Hooray! But you know the drill, the happiness doesn't last, because in the episode, the terror within Zahir and his companions infiltrate Suyin's estate to kidnap Korra. She fights back fiercely against these 4 deadly criminals, defending herself with skillful elemental shifts, blocking Ghazan's lava discs with air gusts, and deflecting Pali's combustion beams with earth walls. However, despite her strength, the Red Lotuses nearly overpowers her. But just as she's about to be captured, Team Avatar and the Zaofu Metalbenders arrive as backup, forcing the attackers to retreat. After discovering that one of Zaofu's trusted guards betrayed them, Korra becomes determined to go on the offensive and learn more about these dangerous criminals. In the stakeout, Korra pursues Aiwei, the person who betrayed them, to the desert town of Misty Palms Oasis. Once there, Korra meditates into the spirit world to spy on Aiwei, only to find Zahir waiting for her instead. Here, Zahir reveals the Red Lotus's goal to bring chaos and freedom by dismantling the Avatar cycle. He explains that their initial plan was to indoctrinate her as a child Avatar, but now they intend to kill her while she's in the Avatar state, ending the Avatar cycle forever. This plan echoes her biggest fear, losing all of her power, and with it, her identity. But it also makes her realize that maybe her dad locked her away for a good reason. When Zahir tries to capture her in the spirit world, Korra's allies step in, and in the physical world, Asami helps Korra escape. However, they are soon captured by the Earth Queen's forces, who take them prisoner as enemies of the kingdom. Then, in Long Live the Queen, Korra and Asami manage to free themselves, using their wits and combat skills to defeat the guards. They crash land the airship in the Siwang Desert, working together with the otherwise hostile crew to survive. Afterward, they reunite with Meiko and Bolin at Misty Palms Oasis. There, they learn that Zahir has infiltrated the Earth Queen's palace and killed her, literally airbending the breath out of her lungs. With the Earth Kingdom thrown into chaos, Zahir declares that the Age of Kings is over, and he now holds all the cards. Zahir's next move is clear. He's taken the airbenders at the Northern Air Temple hostage and demands that Korra surrender herself, or they'll be killed. She has no choice. Korra agrees to give herself up to save the airbenders, and that takes us to the episode Enter the Void, which opens with Korra and her team going to Lagima's Peak, a mountaintop symbolically above the clouds where Zahir plans to meet them. And he's got one hell of a surprise.
Korra! It was a trick!
Yep, he's basically brought her there to die. A fierce battle breaks out, and one of the Lotus members is killed by Suyin, but Zahir uses his airbending mastery to fly, taking Korra and leaving the scene. In the season finale, Venom of the Red Lotus, Korra wakes in chains again, this time facing a far more deadly situation. Zahir plans to use a metallic poison to trigger Korra's avatar state, then kill her while she's at her most vulnerable. She tries her best to resist the poison, but her avatar state overtakes her, and Zahir, the other Red Lotus's attack. Even in chains, Korra's avatar state is a whirlwind of power, and she fights fiercely against her enemies. It's not enough though, and Zahir has her right where he wants her. That is until the other airbenders appear and create a wind funnel, blocking him from attacking. Now free, Korra takes her chance and heads right for Zahir. The battle ends as Lin and Suyin encase Zahir in metal, capturing him. But Korra's victory is bittersweet because the poison is still killing her. Jinora realizes it's a metallic poison and, with Suyin's help, bends it out of her body. Finally, Korra is freed from immediate danger, but the damage is done. She is deeply wounded, both physically and spiritually. To make matters worse, something is still missing. Korra cannot enter the Avatar state anymore. Her connection to Rava is blocked by fear and PTSD. Every time she tries, panic attacks overwhelm her. Visions of past enemies cloud her mind. She feels guilty and useless as she hears the Earth Kingdom has fallen into chaos after the Earth Queen's death. Eventually, Korra decides she must face her challenges alone in more ways than one. She secretly leaves the South Pole, cutting her hair short, and sets off on a solitary journey around the world, posing as an ordinary Earth Kingdom citizen. For nearly 6 months, Korra wanders the Earth Kingdom, fighting in underground earthbending pits for money, searching for an external threat to match the internal one she's battling. But wherever she goes, she's haunted. In the episode Kora Alone, a ghostly apparition of herself stalks her at every turn. This ghost embodies Korra's trauma, a constant reminder of her near-death and lingering fear. She tries to fight the hallucination one night in a small village, bending furiously at an opponent only she can see, and ends up beaten and exhausted in the mud. Villagers look on in pity as the once mighty avatar struggles against nothing. One night, a tiny spirit in the form of a white dog appears, leading her into the mystical, foggy swamp. There, Korra loses track of the spirit, and in the heart of the swamp, the dark avatar apparition attacks again. Korra sinks beneath the swamp's surface, and she wakes up in a cozy cave, cared for by Toph Beifong, an older woman who has made the swamp her home. In the calling, Toph wastes no time. She senses remnants of the metallic poison still inside Korra, disrupting her connection to Earth and to herself. Over the next few days, Toph becomes a spiritual coach and tough love guide to Korra. They walk through the swamp's twisting roots as Toph teaches her, often calling Korra Twinkle Toes, just like Aang. Also, it may just be the nerd in me, but does this remind you a little bit of Yoda teaching Luke? No? Okay, anyway, Korra attempts to purge the remaining poison through metal bending, but each time, Korra panics. She sees Zahir's face, feels the burn of the poison, and gives up. Toph sees that she needs to face her fears, so takes her to a special meditation tree and helps her see into the flow of life. Here, Korra allows herself to feel the fear of Amon's attack, the betrayal of Unalaq, the suffocation of Zahir, all of it. And instead of fighting these feelings, she accepts them. In doing so, she finds they no longer have power over her. With Toph quietly watching, Korra stands and bends the metallic poison out of her body at last. This marks the true end of Korra's venom, not just the poison, but that rage we saw way back in her early days too. Now reunited with the Airbender kids, Korra returns to civilization determined to confront the rising threat in the Earth Kingdom. Kuvira, once an ally from Zaofu, now a dictator calling herself the Great Uniter, coercing fractured Earth Kingdom states under her authoritarian rule. In the episodes Enemy at the Gates and The Battle of Zaofu, Korra heads straight to Zaofu to try and play the diplomacy card, but that doesn't do much good and nearly gets a whole host of people killed. That eventually leads to the duel where Korra fights Kuvira, one metal bender versus all 4 elements. Korra seems to have the upper hand, especially when she enters the Avatar state, pinning Kuvira down and nearly winning, but at the most critical moment. This happens. Seeing that Korra is clearly distracted, Kuvira takes the opportunity to hit back, almost wiping her from existence completely. If it wasn't for Jinora swooping in last second and Kuvira's troops overrun Zaofu, this defeat is a pretty sobering moment for Korra. Even though she's made progress in healing, she's not invincible, and setbacks are a part of her journey. It teaches her that healing isn't linear, and that she still has inner work to do to regain confidence in the Avatar state. Korra retreats to Republic City to reunite with Tenzin, Mako, and Asami in the episode poignantly named Reunion. When Prince Wu is kidnapped by Kuvira's agents, Korra jumps into action with Mako and Asami. They race through the city, using their skills to save the prince, and shortly after, the whole team fully embrace, with Korra apologizing for her radio silence. I guess she realized that these people, her friends, are just as important to her as her Avatar journey. By the time we get to the episode Beyond the Wilds, Kuvira's ambition reaches terrifying heights. She begins harvesting magical spirit vines to create a spirit-powered superweapon. Republic City's spirit wilds react violently, trapping tourists in rogue vines and sending their souls into the spirit world. Korra tries to meditate into the spirit world to free them, but her PTSD blocks her. Every time she closes her eyes, the memory of Zahir haunts her. Realizing she can't fully help others until she confronts this final part of her trauma, Korra visits Zahir in prison.
Let it play out. Don't fear what might have been.
Korra releases the last bit of poison in her soul, her fear of what might have been, and finds herself spiritually unblocked. She enters the spirit world with ease, finding Ra'ava's light shining brightly inside her again. She locates and rescues the trapped souls, including Jinora. As Korra leaves the prison, she feels lighter than she has in years. This renewal comes just in time, because in Kuvira's gambit, Kuvira unveils a mecha suit called the Colossus, which is powered by a spirit vine cannon, and it's marching toward Republic City. Korra leads the charge to stop it, along with Team Avatar. Despite their efforts, efforts, the Colossus's armor is nearly impenetrable. Time runs out, and Hiroshi Sato sacrifices himself to give the team one last chance. Asami, Korra, Mako, and others infiltrate the Colossus, disabling the weapon and eventually detonating it. In the wreckage, Korra faces Kuvira one last time in the last stand. Kuvira turns the spirit cannon on Korra, but Korra enters the Avatar state and redirects the beam, causing a massive explosion that creates a new spirit portal in a Republic city. With nothing left, Kuvira surrenders and the war ends. Korra, now at peace, steps forward with Asami, ready to embrace a future of healing, balance, and love. Together, they walk into the new spirit portal hand in hand. And there we have it, folks. That was the entire story of Korra. I hope you enjoyed looking back through her story as much as I did, because, man, I'd go as far to say that she might be my favorite Avatar. Move over, Aang. There's a new girl in town. Let me know down below what your favorite Korra moment is, and let me know what show you'd like me to cover next. But for now, I'll catch you all next time.